So I'm back in Sandringham for day 3 of my filming. Today I'm going to be going to that area adjacent, well, it's the same block of land as the shooting area that I showed you in my last documentary in part 2. If you look there, that cross at the top there was the shooting range that I showed you, and this whole block of land here, now that lower circle is where I'm going today. That small arrow there is my entry point into the land, and I was basically moving through the forest in that direction. So once again I have to mention the complete lack of animal noises in the forest. There's no birds, there's no rustling, there's no nothing, there's no squirrels. Completely and totally and utterly empty in here, which is, you know, I mean, when the Queen was feeding the woodland creatures, this place was teeming with life, absolutely teeming. And here's the reason why there's no sounds of any animals here anymore. Another shooting chair. I didn't want to spend too much time here today because I know that there's guys going around with guns, and I don't know how safe that is, but yeah, I just wanted to take some pictures to show you the lay of the land here. Very, very beautiful land here, very beautiful walks. Lots and lots of areas of the forest here have had vast numbers of trees cut down in recent years, since these private signs went up, since the Queen wasn't keeping an eye on what was going on. When you shoot off guns in the forest, when you can imagine men up here just shooting at anything that moves, what happens is all the wildlife leave. That's a fact. And like I said, a lot of trees have been cut down here, a lot of heavy machinery coming through, a lot of loud activity, driving the forest folk away. Absolutely horrendous. And in the distance, the evidence to show what's been going on here, a lot of trees being cut down. Stacks and stacks and stacks of dead trees. All along this line, you can see here on the map, just loads and loads and loads of trees. Loads and loads of dead trees. Another site of rhododendron destruction. Get the picture. One could be forgiven for thinking this place is idyllic from this picture as I walk across, but what you're about to see will change all of that. It's an absolute travesty. I mean, absolute genocide going on here. I find it impossible to believe that such a kind, loving family like the royal family could even possibly even know about what's going on here. I can't imagine they've been told. This is absolutely disgusting. Every single tree is a city. All of the woodland creatures dying, running away from all this noise, being absolutely scared witless. I mean, the loss in lives is unimaginable. And to rub salt in the wound, all within viewing distance of the visitor centre that was been ripped down and the car park that's been ripped out. I can't imagine the Queen knew that this happened, that her visitor centre was taken away. And in the name of shooting, murder and wholesale destruction of woodland habitat. So now we make it to the playing field that no children play on anymore. I've seen kite flying competitions held here on this piece of land, and nothing like that goes on here anymore. Where is the visitor centres and car park? There must be still evidence on the ground. When you look on the Google map, you can see lines where the car park used to be. So this land stretches right round to behind that Marcus Friar's Yard, Royal Stud, where this land was all open before. It was all open for children to frolic across. Now we have paddocks. Now we have trapped horses, slave horses. I don't think that this is the legacy that the Queen wanted here with this land. It's an absolute disgrace. So this is more or less where the visitor centre was. You can almost make out, if you look at Google Earth and you zoom right in, you can almost make out where the car park used to be, just to the right hand side of that circle there. It's slightly larger than the area I've marked out there. So I personally have driven up to this visitor centre and parked in the car park there many times, and walked across this field. How they've got away with just doing away with it under the nose of the Queen. They must have been, I don't know, avoiding bringing her down here. I really don't know how they've got away with it, but there's no way that a visitor centre that she paid for and opened up herself and was very happy about, there's no way that she knew that they took this away. And as you can see here, the playing fields are absolutely beautiful, absolutely wonderful, a wonderful environment for kids to play. As you may have noticed on that last map shot that I showed you there are lots of sections of the forest that have been cut down, squares upon squares of forest land just removed. And these little runs here, I believe that they are places designed for flushing out game when you're shooting. And there's quite a few of these cut into the forest, not too far, but yeah, I think that's what the purpose is. They're called shooting channels, I believe, something like that. So they run great big machines through the forest here, just cutting down loads and loads of trees. You can see the gouges in the ground. So I moved through the forest here, trying to take a vantage point from where I could see a new house that's been built here. Now, it's been here a few years, I believe, although I'm not sure. I think they may have built another house, a bigger house here. You're about to see a shot of it. So I'm just panning the camera around there, just to get a bit of context from the trees, just to identify where I am. So all new houses built on the estate would have to be okayed by the monarch themselves, because this land is owned privately by the royal family, and obviously it would be the Queen's or King's decision whether a new property could be built here. Now I assume that the people that built this new house did obtain planning permission, but did they obtain permission from the monarch, considering they've done away with the visitor centre and the car park and privatised this land off? I don't know. I can't imagine that they necessarily got the right permissions, but that's yet to be seen, I suppose. So there's a shot here from Google Earth showing these two houses. Now, the one on the left, I believe, is the older house, and the one on the right, it wasn't there a couple of years ago. It may have only been built a year or so ago, I think. So I'm moving back now towards the shooting area that I went to at the end of part 2. As you can see on that map shot there, lots and lots of holes in the forest there. Lovely walks here. There are. As I walked away there, I felt a little bit kind of bereft. All those trees cut down, it's upsetting. So I took this little shot of the floor here, kind of summed up how I was feeling at the time. As I was walking up towards the shooting chair, I did see another guy on one of the petrol carts. I was going up the hill, he was driving down the hill. He didn't see me. It just goes to show that all these areas of the state are being monitored by these guys driving around in these carts. I imagine they're helping to organise the shooting going on here, that kind of thing. As you can see there, just a pile of clay pigeons, well, plastic pigeons, just left there, discarded. So coming back round to the shooting range, I wanted to have another look at this target. I wanted to see if I could find a bullet, and I also wanted to pace out the distance between the shooting frame and the target. Just a satellite image there of where this shooting range is. I was hoping in the light of the day I'd be able to maybe find a bullet. I was looking around on the floor, and here we go. Cursory examination of the bullet to me seems to show it's a hollow point. A particularly nasty type of bullet which can cause extreme damage, but not a clean kill. Not the kind of bullet you want to be shooting at anybody, really. I don't know why these aren't banned. They should be completely banned worldwide. They're just disgusting. I'm going to pace this out. I'm 6 foot tall. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, 24, 26, 27, 28, 30, 31, 32, 34, 35, 36, 38, 39, 40, 41, 2, 3, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 68, 69, 70, 71, 73, 74, 75, 76, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 92, 93, 94, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At right angles from here, I walk across here. So just a still image of that shooting frame there. It doesn't look very good. I mean, I haven't tested how strong it is, but I mean that needs varnishing as well. I mean, would they varnish it, or will it just come to the point where someone's leaning on it and it just falls over and someone might accidentally get shot? I really don't know. Nothing would surprise me around here. I just wanted to mention that I can't really understand how these sorts of bullets can be used here. When you're using a gun, a rifle that would shoot this sort of bullet, every time it's used, it has to be logged. Now, if you're using it for a justifiable reason, it has to be logged. Every single bullet is counted, itemised, notarised, declared, etc. Now, if you're just using these bullets for sport, just for fun, as in target practice, this still has to be declared. It still has to be recorded. So for these guys to be shooting here, shooting these sorts of guns here, when this shooting range is illegal and you can't actually shoot guns here, you know, you can't shoot rifles at this rifle range. The only place you can shoot guns is at a proper rifle range, or like I said, if the guns are of a certain power, a certain caliber, then you have to go to a military shooting range for that. So I can't understand how these bullets are here. I can't understand all this damage done to this target. I can't understand where they're getting the bullets from, is what I'm trying to say. Because like I said, every single bullet in this country that's shot from any weapon, it has to be counted, itemised, notarised and declared. So I would also like to mention that disposing of the target board that they're using there before it can be forensically examined to check whether illegal weapons have been used here would actually be a crime. It would be disposing of evidence, and that cannot be allowed. So I urge the people who are going to this place and shooting these weapons to not dispose of that target unless they wish to be charged with tampering with evidence. So this is a view of the pond I mentioned. It's pretty idyllic, but I wasn't really in the mood to enjoy the scenery. I just wanted to crack on and have another look around. The walks in here are absolutely stunning. There's deer. There's deer in here, I've seen them. Lovely ones, in groups running around. This is modern man for you. Just a bunch of, you know, bullies, murderers. Not nice, is it? More debris just scattered near the forest. I'm going to take a clean So that last clay pigeon debris I just found, I showed you, was at the edge of the forest. I just wanted to show you exactly where it was on the satellite image. As you can see, it's very close to the road, and I can't imagine that the people who were shooting at these clays were shooting, you know, in any direction other than these three lines. I would imagine they were definitely shooting towards the road. This is just utterly unacceptable. I mean, this is a public road where people walk up and down. As far as I'm concerned, these men need to be arrested for attempted murder for this act. I'm going to walk along here down into Wolverton to see the breaks in the bushes here. I've just gone through there though. There's no fence into that high power rifle shooting range, which is illegal. I've just crawled through there. Kids could go through there if they're curious. I'm just going to walk along here. I won't film all the way along, but I'm going to stop and take pictures of any breaks in the bushes, which are even easier access. This is an easy one. I'm a small child, 9 years old. All I have to do is walk through here like this. I mean, I haven't hardly had to duck either, and I'm 6 foot. So, and here I am. And over there they shoot. Just over there, just to where that line of light is there, is the shooting area. Easy access point for a runaway cat or dog. Go straight through there. I mean, I'm not saying this bit is really accessible, but I mean, I could get through there. And if I'm a 9-year-old boy, you know, an adventurous group of boys, and girls as well, girls are very adventurous, let's not be sexist, hey lads, then yeah, that would be very easy to get through there. I could get through there as well. This one looks like I can just walk straight through, like this. I didn't have to duck. There's bracken that will die back and disappear, and there I am. I'm straight in without any problems at all. And I'd be forgiven for thinking, oh, what's in there? I'm going to have an explore. Oh no, I've just caught a bullet in the head. Bit graphic way of saying it, but people, you know, who tend to walk in places where people are shooting illegally, accidentally sometimes, you know, get hit by bullets. Other places here where you could get through before, where there's now a bit of brambles. There's places where there's loads of bracken where it looks inaccessible, but as you know, once that bracken gets, you know, falls and disappears, those places become accessible again. I mean, you could get through there if you really wanted to. This is another place. Once that bracken really falls, you could probably walk through there as well. There's other places further back where I just walked from that you could potentially get through. If you look here, I mean, you can walk straight through there. If you're children, you'd go in there because it's exciting. Look, and then, oh, let's have a little explore. You know. There's no signs or anything, there's no warning of any sort. You know, even if this was happening with the Queen's wishes, which I can't imagine it would have been, certainly not, maybe not with Charles either. He's a bit of an environmentalist, you know, a bit of a big softy really. You could also walk through there, look, you know. Well, this is where I am. Remember, this all used to be footpaths, so yeah, walk straight through there, no problems. Just walking a bit further along here. You could get through there, right through that way, if you were willing to duck down. This is the old rectory apparently. Just there, the old rectory, and yeah, all of this used to be walkable. The Queen was very happy about people walking there, and I'm just going back down to the stud now. The royal studs. There was no paddocks or anything there before. I mean, all of that land behind there was all open. and at the far end there was a visitor centre, which I tried to take video and pictures of earlier, but the visitor centre is no longer there, but there is a house which I caught in the distance. There were loads and loads of cars there, and I assume they're people who've come there with guns, so I didn't get too close, if you're wondering what happened there. But yeah, just more shots of the paddocks that didn't used to exist. And I'm just going to walk up to here again. There's a fence here in a complete state of disrepair, right here. It's got barbed wire on it, and the fence isn't being maintained, but there's barbed wire there. I mean, I've just seen large deer running around. I'm not sure what species they are. Are they like roe deer or something? They'd bloody clatter into that. I'm sure some of them have been injured on that. They run around here. As you can see, they can get in and out and go wherever they like. Why would you have that at that height? It's like the perfect height for a child to accidentally run into. That is, you can't see it hardly either. Do you know what I mean? It's not like it's sprayed bright yellow or something, and like the fence is sprayed bright yellow. You can't. The bottom wires are broken away, and there's just a single barbed wire pulled across there, taut. I can imagine a small, you know, I don't know, a 6, 7, 8-year-old child running through there and ripping their neck open. Oh my word, that is disturbing. Just walked past the Dersingen Bog car park again, with the sign put up by a private company charging you to park. It just doesn't seem like to make sense that you would reduce the size of the car park and then start charging. Seems a bit strange to me. Do you know what I mean? A little bit bizarre. So anyway, I've noticed I keep slipping into that different voice. Oh, I don't know why I'm doing it. I mean, my dad is from London, and I'll keep going a bit like that and then like a bit London. I don't know, I suppose because I'm walking around with all these private signs and it's making me go into an alternate version of myself. But anyway, as I was saying, that car park that's got signs on it, yeah, they reduced the size of the car park. They put all those bollards up, because the car park used to go where the bollards are, used to be a lot longer, and you could fit quite a few cars there. So they reduced the size of the car park and put up signs saying you now have to pay. So that shows you that the people who are saying they want to generate money from the site don't actually want people to walk there. Now, is this some sort of way to try and, you know, justifies its privatisation and closure? You know, they might say, oh, it's because of nature and stuff like that. They're saying there's ground nesting birds in there. There isn't any ground nesting birds in there. I walked through some of the heather areas the other day, and there was that sign at the end, and there was loads of access points to just walk through there. If you really cared, you'd put signs everywhere and make sure people didn't walk through there, but they're not doing that. And I have walked through there because there's lots of access points there, and I wouldn't tread on any ground nesting birds because I know where the routes go, you see. There's paths through, so because I have knowledge of that place. So I walked through there, and there is no ground nesting birds there. Do you know what I mean? There's none. I guarantee, you know, they might say, well, there is. Well, we're trying to encourage them, okay, but they aren't there. And I just think it's a way of trying to privatise that area and start shooting there as well. That seems to be what's going on here. So, yeah, I'll just leave this little video with this. This is some of the most beautiful walks in Sandringham beyond here. Absolutely gorgeous. So I walked down the road away from Wolverton, along that arrow there, towards a piece of land that I just wanted to quickly show you. So there's barbed wire on here, which is, I've seen deer in there. I think they were either trapped in there intentionally to be shot, or they got in there, they jumped in there. That was when it was all closed, you see. But the gate at the end was unlocked. Yeah, so the deer I found in there one day, it had got in over the fence either by jumping over a barbed wire fence, which I don't know how you can have barbed wire fences in the forest, and it was trapped in there. Luckily there was a gate that was unlocked. That gate I just went past was unlocked, but I don't suppose you necessarily want to go in there, because I don't know, they lock the gates, and sometimes different gates are unlocked, locked, unlocked. So this area here was originally earmarked to be heathland, because a load of heather was planted here. Now I assume, because that was done years ago, I assume that was the Queen's wishes to have heathland here, maybe, I don't know. But oh no, there is still some here, look. But they've like run vehicles in there, ripping it a lot of it up. Now this fence was a new thing, you see. I mean, they might say it's to protect the heather so you don't walk on it. But why put a barbed wire fence there? Why put barbed wire on the top? I don't know. It's a bit of a brutal way of like stopping people going in there. But yeah, they might say they're trying to protect it, but the truth is, I've seen lots of healthy trees. They go in there with this massive machine and cut loads of healthy trees down. Which, like I said, a tree is like a city, like a town for insect people. It's just utterly horrible. Disgusting, I think. Well, so that area that I've just been talking about is there. I'm going to go have another look at it, but in this part of the forest, a bit further along, I'm not necessarily going to walk there today. The Queen used to get young girls, and boys I imagine, well, people that worked on the estate, not necessarily young, to take buckets of food into the forest and scatter it about for squirrels and birds. And the squirrels and birds really loved that, and even like the foxes and things loved that as well, because they'd eat it all, and everyone was just, all the animals were being friendly to each other because they didn't need any other food because they were being fed, which was really nice. And then I thought Sandringham would be like, let's start building houses for animals, you know, and just be nice about the whole thing. But then as the Queen got older, now they don't do that anymore here, and they might even cry conservation of ecosystems. Well, ecosystems tend to be murderous, barbaric and torturous to the people that live in forests. So I preferred the Queen's approach. I don't know why that policy was reversed, and I don't know why her walk was taken away. I don't know why their visitor centre was ripped down, and that all of these places being privatised. I really don't understand that at all. It doesn't seem like the Queen wanted that at all, you know. And as I mentioned before, when I did speak to the estate manager, he just laughed at me and told me to go away in words that weren't very, very polite. Let's say it was a P and then another word with O. Just on the other end of this land that was marked as heathland, there's tracks that damaged all the heather anyway. They ran great big vehicles over it. This one isn't locked. If you go along here, there's actually somewhere to feed animals. Now that's a trough for cows, isn't it? If you look at the height of it. Yeah. So, thinking about it, I think they did put cows on here. So if you were trying to protect it, fence it off to protect it, why would you put a cow trough in there and put cows on it as well? Thinking about it, because they would just damage the heather that you were trying to establish. So why put the fences up? Well, you put the fences up to put cattle on here. But why would the Queen want that when she was a vegetarian? And why would she want that considering this had been earmarked to be heathland? And there were walks through here. You were allowed to walk here. You know, the plan was for people to walk here, but to not walk on the heather. Now these tracks here were made gouged by a great big vehicle. It just went straight over everything. And then they went in here and they chopped loads of trees down. There's also a fence on that far side that makes the other bit of forest just along the road quite inaccessible. People don't tend to walk there, but it's all nice. So next I went down to the Sandringham camping place, and just to show you that all of the footpath signs that used to be there have all been removed. So no more footpath signs here. Plus, if you walk into the camping place, which you're allowed to do, it gives you access to the forest here. There's footpath. If you walk through the entranceway here and walk to the right, I think there's a gate there now, but there's no footpath signs there. But you can walk into the forest there. It's almost as if they're trying to stop people walking in this part of the forest as well. Why? Well, I don't know. It's like people are trying to claim parts of Sandringham Forest for themselves. I don't know. It's very strange. So I'm at the Woodland Gate, and for all the years they've held Illuminate here, this path is always open during the day and you can walk through. But now for some reason they've decided to close this off, and I don't know if it's only been closed off for Illuminate or whether it's been closed off the whole time, but it just shows you the policy is getting more and more excluding. Anyway, I'm going over there, so I've just come a little way down that track, and this is an entranceway to a lovely path that last year you could get through just about. This year it's even more overgrown, but I just want to show you what's beyond there. It almost looks like someone's come in here and planted more of these rhododendrons here. Just want to have a quick look through here. I know it's passable, or it used to be. Well, those rhododendrons grow fast. Now this was possibly, I think, my favourite part of the forest. Very beautiful, one of the most beautiful. It was all enclosed, lots of lovely bushes and little places you could walk through, little pathways here and there, and all through here. This whole area has just been devastated, completely devastated. They cut down loads of trees, I believe they cut down trees, and you can see what they've done to the rhododendrons as well. It was outstandingly beautiful in here. I personally would have had this reserved as a special place. It may have even been on the list, considering what happened to the rhododendrons that were protected. I wouldn't be surprised if this had been protected as well. But anyway, it's all gone now. Absolute disgrace, that is. One of the most beautiful. So to say this pathway is blocked and closed when there's so many other access points onto the path seems a little bit strange. Because you can't close this off because there's so many other places you can walk through. So there is, like, along here there's an avenue of trees. Now there used to be trees along here, you know, equidistantly planted, beautiful trees, and they were all healthy. I don't care what the estate says, they were all healthy. And I would imagine because of them, because of the size of them and the importance of them, they would have been listed as not to be cut down. But I'm not necessarily going to go all the way along here, but people walk here, they know that you see gaps in the distancing, and this is at random places all the way along here. They've just been cut down, healthy trees cut down, beautiful ones, and the roots have been dragged out, I assume, because I can't see any of the roots. And yeah, a lovely track here. Blocked off. Why? There was from the road up there where I just was, where you have the avenue of trees, coming down through this part of the forest, there's loads of jumps and berms and curves for bikes to go down. I might go out there and have a quick look. The Queen was very happy about this. This was part of the bicycle events that were held here. Yeah, like I said, the guy said to me it was all shut down. This is new though, so, and nobody was using them because they were told not to, and then people just stopped coming here. But for some reason they've decided to block this off now as well, so people can't even walk up this path. I don't know why they do that. It's more just trying to keep excluding people from walking in more and more places in the forest. You know, maybe to, I don't know. Will people stop coming here? I don't know. Here's one of the old bike obstacles, as you can see. This was part of events that were held here with the Queen's permission, with the Queen's blessing. She enjoyed these. These sort of events are held all over the world. They still are to this day. So why the estate of Sandringham would go against the Queen's wishes and stop them happening here when it would be a huge draw, I really don't understand. So just walking up this way a little bit, there were interconnecting tracks here which were, you know, the best in West Norfolk probably, because you've got all these hills here. I'm going over another obstacle here. Now this is weathered, you see. That support structure over the top of this, there would have been more sand compacted over there, and see, it goes back down this way. I mean, you could still go down here with a bicycle, but they've blocked the end up now, you know, against the Queen's wishes. She wanted events to be held here. She thought it was wonderful for kids to have things to do. Here's another berm here, you see this? It's still here, but like I said, the estate, if they notice anyone do it, you know, any activity here, I assume they just clamp down on it. Like that fella said, they'll just stop us from some riding here now. So people aren't giving up here though. They just like it here. Now, someone's made a little seating area here, haven't they? I'm not sure about this structure. That could probably do with being looked at. But there used to be a jump here. This isn't the original jump, because it was taken down a year or two ago. I think this has been re-erected. It doesn't look good, this one. The original one was really good. It was really solid. Yeah, you can see. Is that an old post from it there? I'm not sure. But yeah. If this is the place I'm thinking of, I'm not sure actually. This might be a new one. I think there might be another place where there's another jump. Anyway, now, when you hold organised events and do them properly, you have people come in and you check these things. If you stop these things from occurring, then you get rebels coming in here and erecting things that might not be as good. This jump doesn't look as good. It's probably safe enough to jump off, to be honest. Oh, it is very, very solid. So whoever's put that back in there, if that's the one, yeah, I think this is the same place actually. It looks slightly different, I don't know. But anyway, I'm not sure about that structure though. Although, I don't know if it is solid. Yeah, it's quite solid, but I'd probably want to look at that. If I was the estate, I would come and have a look at that and either take it down or make it better. I'd like to see events held here at Sandringham again. Bicycle events, like they hold all over the world. You know, you have the Red Bull events. They could have wonderful events here. And it doesn't, they say it disturbs the woodland creatures. Well, I mean, okay, you could say that, but I'm not so sure about that, personally. If you cared about woodland creatures, you wouldn't be going around shooting them, would you? You see what I mean? So for people crying environmentalism, don't feed the animals is better, this place is silent and dead. There's hardly any animals here. You might occasionally hear the odd pigeon, and that's it. This place should be teeming with life. You do see the odd rare squirrel, very rarely. And I have walked these woods for many years. I mean, for the last 2 years, I've been in the woods every day, solidly, for long periods of time. And over the last sort of 5, 6, 7 years, I've seen a major decline in the wildlife here. Like I said, they used to feed the animals, you know, during the times where you don't need to feed them and there's lots of nuts and things, you know, but during those times when they're going to be struggling, you know, it's a bit like feeding ducks in the winter when there's nothing to eat. What do? Just let them die and torture them with no food? No, people go and feed them. And that's what they used to do here, under the Queen's direction. But yeah, now it's not happening. It's not happening at all. And the woods are silent, which is worrying. It's getting worse and worse. It's very quiet in here. So from where I've just come there, from the woodland gate, and come down here, there are access points to the forest here. There were places you could park here, which people used to park here, and people used to park along here, all the way down. I'll talk about it in a little while. But they've put up these like raised berm type things, so people can't park here anymore. Now, there used to be a bit of a community feel here, which the Queen was very happy about. The royal family loved it. A community feel. You'd get lots of camper vans come down here. Now, there are caravan clubs. There's a couple, I think, camping clubs, and they have always been busy. Even when people used to come down here and come down here. I mean, they'd stay at the caravan clubs and then come down here during the day. And they'd park along here, and it was wonderful. Wonderful community feel. It wasn't like really jam-packed or anything, but it was nice. Yeah, so all the way along here, there's now berms along there. You can't pull up onto here. I mean, you could in a large camper van, but people are told they can't now, which is again expressly against the, you know, the royal family's wishes, because they used to love it when it was like that down here. And they've started to, they monetise the car park, and I'll show you a bit more about the car park in a second. I just want to go to the cricket ground first. But yeah, so I mean, I could stand here, maybe talk a bit more like this. I don't like just skipping over these things as if, you know, but this is a large documentary and I need to squeeze things in. There's going to be a lot of people with a lot to say about the decline in woodland creatures and the fact they can't park here now and just have a nice day out, you know, along here. So, and it's basically caused a massive decline in people coming to Sandringham. Which is kind of counterintuitive, really, because the Queen wanted to share this beautiful estate with people, but as you can see, everything has been kind of neutered. The water tower, the gardens, you know, loads and loads of areas of the forest are now sectioned off. You can't go there anymore. Visitor centre removed. The dilapidation of the buildings on the estate, which people rent and live in. And the cricket ground is an issue. So this used to all be open to the public to walk through, although that bit further up there was the place where they had, you know, access on certain days because they were protecting the grass and things for the rabbits. Here you could walk through, and beyond here is the cricket ground. Now this, I've seen the sign up for the cricket ground here sometimes. It's not here at the moment. It used to be open all year round, but now it's not. I think they just put the sign up during the summer, although I don't know if it's going to be up this summer. But I just want to show you that is now apparently, this bit I've just sat now is now the access to the cricket ground. But, and they're talking, I saw a planning notice there saying they've demolished the old pavilion and they're building a new pavilion. Well, okay, but down here there was
the original cricket buildings. There was lots of buildings here which were all part of the cricket ground arrangements, and this entrance that I'm just approaching now on the right hand side, it was the cricket ground entrance, as it was when the Queen was still keeping an eye on what was going on here more, before her health was declining and she knew what was going on here. So now this place here is the old entrance to the cricket ground, but all the buildings here that were part of the cricket arrangement are now all, it says there, private grounds. Can I see that? Yeah. And it's locked, obviously, and now it's someone's just decided to live there. Now, does the crowd, did the Queen know? I don't know. She loved that cricket ground. It was really nice, the way it was envisaged to be. And I don't know if King Charles is aware that this has happened, but yeah, that's a private residence now, So this is another protected site where the estate manager, I think that this is the other side of that area where the estate offices are. I'd have to check on a map. This used to be able to walk through here. The church, there's a church over there, but you used to be able to walk through. It's now been put under section whatever it is, so you can't go in there. What does it say? Section 128 of the Serious Organised Crime and Police Act 2005. Okay. More changes, more restrictions, less places to walk.
So over to the car park now. Now this car park, as you can see there, I've drawn a pink line around an area of the forest which was cut down to make the car park bigger. Now this car park, there's other car parks, it didn't need to be made bigger. This was just an exercise in cutting down a load of trees and destroying a beautiful part of the forest. There was no need for it. To the right hand side of that picture, and to the right of where the car park is, where you've got trees there, there's more parking amongst the trees there as well. And there is another car park on the other side of the shopping area, where the cafe is and things. And that car park used to be really wonderful. You'd have great big mature trees in the car park, and all the trees were cut down in the car park. I can't understand why they did that. It was absolutely disgraceful. They just decided, we've got loads of trees in the car park, let's just cut them all down. Now, was this done with permission of the monarch? Was the Queen aware? Is the King now aware that this happened? I don't know. I can't imagine that they would have okayed not only the destruction of those trees on that other car park, but these ones here on this car park. I don't know. If I was running this estate, I would never have allowed these trees to be cut down. One more quick thing to mention. Is King Charles aware the car parks have now been monetised? This goes against the ethos of previous management under the Queen's purview. So a few years ago they installed the Arboretum, which I thought was a strange move, considering there were beautiful walks through there, which everyone loved. There was a lovely picnic area, and there were also some sculptures installed there. Now I believe there was a competition that the royal family chose the winners of, and this competition was held for local artists to make sculptures out of wood. and they're great big lovely sculptures, carved, beautiful sculptures. And this competition was held, and I believe the winners were told that these sculptures would be kept safe and looked after and kept in this part of the forest, and you could literally walk around and look at each sculpture, and it was quite nice. Now these sculptures were left, they weren't varnished, they rotted, and then they were all ripped out and replaced by this arboretum. Now on the face of it, this might just seem like a resculpt and, you know, quite nice. I mean, I don't know if the royal family would have approved. I think they would have preferred if the arboretum was to be installed, if they decided that's what they wanted, then they would have you know, kept the sculptures in good condition, because it only takes, you know, a bit of paint and varnish once a year or so, and just distribute those sculptures through the forest or something and install them in a different place so the arboretum could have been built. But no, the sculptures were just left to rot, and then they were, I presume they were all thrown away. Now these artists who created these sculptures, I can't imagine they were happy about that. But anyway, so now we've got this arboretum. Now in the arboretum, I've walked through there a few times, and it just seems like a bit of a torture show. All of the signs were wrong, in wrong places. You look at a sign, you look up, there's no tree. You look at a sign, you look up, there's a tree kind of there, but it's not the right tree. All the signs wrong, and it was left like this for years. I mean, I haven't been there recently. Have they sorted it all out? Have they put correct signs on all the trees so you can actually explore and see which trees are in there? Is there a nice distribution of trees in there, all signed? Because the whole point of an arboretum is you can walk around and check all the different species of trees, and there to be signs on each tree. Now, that's the way an arboretum works. This arboretum, not so much. Like I said, incorrect signage. No one seemed to really care about this place. For years and years and years, it just seemed quite strange that a royal estate like this, which would pride itself, in theory, being a forestry estate, in having a beautiful arboretum, that it was just a complete, I don't know, disgrace in there, really. Just a disgrace. And yeah, so I'm not impressed with the arboretum. It could be nice, I suppose, if it was done correctly. But what about all those sculptures? Where did they go? What was done about them? Were the artists contacted? Did they want their sculptures back? Even though they were completely rotted away because they weren't looked after by the estate that promised to look after them. I don't know. This left a massively sour taste in my mouth.
For years there was a little angel door here, a little angel and a little doorway. For years and years and years and years and years, someone's come and ripped it away. I believe that was the estate, because the general public just left it. And before that was there, this tree was here, which was a beautiful tree, completely healthy like that one. I don't know why it was cut down. I thought large trees were protected in this country. But it's a forest, they say. Well, yeah, but it's a forest managed, in theory, to the wishes of the Queen, who liked natural forests to do their thing. There's lots of very large trees here, you know, that are all healthy. I don't know why that one was cut down. It's probably too dark to see. I'm near the road. I'm just at a little Y junction, you might call it. Wondering why so many healthy trees are chopped down in this forest and just left scattered about the place. Beautiful trees just chopped down for no reason. And then they just chop them up into pieces. It's almost like people just enjoying going around cutting trees for no reason. I've seen some trees with branches which didn't even need to be removed, just chopped off for fun. I don't know. Anyway, people who walk here will have noticed a lot of this going on and not been happy about it. But the reason I've stopped here, well, there are trees here that are being cut down. You probably can't see them. I might try and enhance this, I don't know. You probably can't see anything. But this Y junction here in the forest, I remember there being a wedding here. Now, I think I was just walking through the forest and I came across someone getting married here. They used to do things like that. They used to allow people to get married here in the forest, you know, if they wanted to. So, yeah, nothing like that goes on here anymore, which is a bit sad, really. But there we go. What can you do? The people who are running this estate, you know, have their way of running it, I suppose. It's not the Queen's way of running it. and I would imagine it's not Charles's way of running it, being such a stalwart environmentalist that he is. So I said I was going to go down to a footpath that goes into what I called Babingley Woods, and have a look from the south going up towards Sandringham. Now here we've got Castle Rising Estates exercising their rights to take land on the other side of the road. This isn't part of Castle Rising Estate, this is a public footpath. There was a sign here, quite a large sign, saying this was a public footpath, and the footpaths go all the way over that way and through the woods into Sandringham. Now they're trying to make this private to stop people going down there. I do believe there still is a footpath over there that kind of comes up here and then in theory goes up through the woods there. Now the woods over there, which I'll show you on the map, they have been fenced off. So there's a path down the middle of the woods, and on each side of the path they put fences. Totally illegal fences, because the woodland is all openly accessible. But I'm going to go up here and I'm going to go down the old footpath and try and see how far I can get, and see if I can get down towards Sandringham. So I've just come from there. This in theory is the footpath that takes you back to the road, and the footpath goes that way. But look here, another misapplication of this term conservation area. This is just ridiculous. Another Castle Rising Estate sign. No entry conservation areas. Used to be able to walk through there. Anyway, I'm going up that way and then that way. That woodland I mentioned, I'm now walking into it. Now all the footpath signs that used to be here have all been taken away. There is some old looking footpath sign there. I'm not even going to show it. I'm not even going to give it any credence at all. It's just something that someone's put in. It even looks old, but it's just been put in there. There's a lot of old footpath signs about the place that have been put in here, and they're not that old. They've been aged to make them look old. Now this here is all open access woodland, and there's going to be other areas around here which have been also fenced off and privatised, but I just wanted to show you the fence here quickly to show you what people have done here. I mean, they've just put a fence in here. Now this fence here, I mean, it's illegal anyway. Look, it's just, I mean, look at that, one string across there. I mean, the deer won't run into that and hurt itself. Now there's this fences all the way along here. Now why, I mean, this isn't even, I mean, this isn't part of Castle Rising, but look, whoever's running this so-called Castle Rising estate have decided that this is theirs and put these fences in here, illegal fences, because they're dangerous. One single wire across there like that, perfect for injuring children of just the right height, perfect for injuring anybody that comes through here, deer, etc. Anyway, this is not why I'm here. I'm going to go to the footpath now, which goes that way and across the fields and then across to Sandringham. Now I've walked that footpath more than once, and it's a lovely walk. I've been down there with my girlfriend. She'll remember going down there with me before all these private signs went up, not that long ago. And as I said before, Prince Charles was adamant about keeping all of this land, all the common land in this country, totally accessible. The common land in Wolverton, totally accessible, and the whole of the Sandringham estate, the policy that he explained to me personally was total access across the whole estate. So now there were footpaths through here. Now I know that Castle Rising are kind of claiming this, so we've got Castle Rising and then we've got Sandringham. I'm just curious as to see what the arrangements are as I walk up there. There's a lot of houses that have cropped up here since all of this private stuff's been going on. Lots of houses here, and it says here public path. So I'm going to quickly go up here and have a look. Another Castle Rising estate sign here, private woodland, no public access. This isn't someone's garden, this is just woodland.
There's no such thing as private woodland in this country. The only way you can have a piece of woodland that's private is if it's directly attached to your property as part of your gardens. Other than that, it's totally open access. We've got this insignia here as well. I presume that's Castle Rising insignia. Why they seem fit to come over here and put these new fences in with this insignia on, it's beyond me. That is an illegal gate, an illegal structure, an illegal sign. So just down here, along this public footpath, we're going to have a little look. There seems to be a gate at the end there. So at the end here there's a gate. There's another illegal gate there, put up by Castle Rising Estate. There's a footpath sign here. A little bit bizarre, points that way. Well, there's no way I can go that way, but I'm going to go forwards that way, through that little turnstile there. This here, this gateway, is totally illegal. Look how dangerous this is. Look, it's not connected there, nothing but a piece of rope. Piece of rope holding this all together. This is highly illegal and highly dangerous, and it's on a public footpath. Now all of this is open access. It always was. Footpaths through these woods. But look at this. Even if that wasn't the case and this was the footpath, look at it. It's so dangerous. And look around the turnstile bit, barbed wire there, and look at it's all held together by string. This is utterly unbelievable, utterly disgraceful. What are these guys up to at Castle Rising Estate? I mean, what? So just some images of this gateway, fence, I don't know what to call it, but it's obviously been put here to keep animals in. There'd be no other reason to erect something like this. Obviously it breaches all sorts of animal welfare laws, health and safety rules, and it's an absolute disgrace. I'll just show you these pictures, but yeah. So I've moved over to voice recorder because the data on my phone, I haven't got much space left on my phone. It's not very clear where this footpath goes. The signage is completely insufficient. So I'm just guessworking on because I know where I'm going. So I'm going across this field, and there should be signage here. Now obviously they don't want you to walk here. They want people to come in and go, oh, I don't know where we can go, let's go back. Because they're trying to stop people walking here. Because obviously, for some reason, people seem to be getting greedy about land that they don't want you to walk on and stuff. As a gradual kind of, this is our land, you can't go there. I wouldn't be surprised if the footpath signs aren't replaced, the ones that are left, the ones they've put in, and that this whole place is just kind of earmarked for taking away from us. But I'm going to keep walking along here. So I've now come to another footpath sign, which I kind of had to use my kind of intuition to get across here to find it. To walk across to Sandringham. I don't even know if you still can get that way. There's a really dodgy looking fence here which is totally illegal, an absolute disgrace. I'll take a picture of it. And there's a walkway there. I'll have a look. I mean, you used to be able to go across that walkway direction and go across there to the woods over there in the distance. But we'll see if there's still a way across there. There was more than one route across there, basically. So over in the distance, there used to be lovely walks into Babingley Woods, and there's this walkway here that you could go across, and then there was another bridge, a similar thing that you could go across, and then further along there was a bridge, and a large kind of footbridge made of wood, and this is what I'm trying to find. So I'm going to move along the riverbank. Here where this disgraceful looking fence is,
There's a trough as well, and it looks absolutely terrible. I mean, they've been keeping animals here, and this is like a breach of welfare laws. I mean, this is disgraceful, absolutely disgraceful. That picture there of the barbed wire, just a mess of barbed wire there, absolutely horrendous. I mean, I haven't seen anything as bad as this.
So moving off in this direction across this next field, down, it goes alongside the Babingley River, and across the river, all new fencing to, you know, I mean, all these fences that they put up here are all new. You used to be able to walk across there in different places, and yeah. So I remember walking across that small bridge, uninhibited, all the way across to Sandringham, Babingley Woods that I've called it, on the other side there. So here I've come across a very dodgy looking turnstile type thing. I'll take some pictures of it. Another example of absolutely horrendous slapdash construction. This step over point here, barbed wire fixings and string. I presume this is to keep animals in. There's a very dangerous sharp piece of metal there where it's all snapped off. I mean, that is very dangerous. I mean, it's hard to believe that people would actually think that this was acceptable. I mean, it's just terrible. So there used to be a larger bridge down here. I'm going along the southern bank of the Babingley River. Is it River Babingley, whatever it's called? Looking for this other bridge across, and I'm going to keep walking up this way and see if I can find it. So this is a truly lovely place to walk. The river was quite high this day. Just beautiful views, beautiful scenery, wonderful. So this is another crossing point here, and that was another way you could get across to walks across to the other side. There we have some very dangerous looking barbed wire again. I mean, can you believe that? Just left like that. And who is supposed to be looking after this land? Is this Castle Rising estate still? I mean, it's just absolutely disgraceful. So up here there was a proper bridge, a large bridge, which I can't see it. Has it been taken away? I mean, that was a footpath bridge. It would be illegal to take it away. But yeah, there's the land's just all fenced off here. Even this old small footpath bridge that's on this picture, you go across there and then there's a barbed wire fence right in front of you. So they've made that inaccessible. So I'm starting to believe this large bridge that used to be here has been done away with. Remembering exactly where it was, because it's been a few years, it's hard to quite remember where it was. I'm going to keep walking along here a little bit further, and then if I don't find it, I'll turn back. Other locals will be able to tell me whether it's still here or not, you know, once this documentary comes out. So there's farm structures over here which weren't here before. That large barn it wasn't here before. I mean, it's been there for a few years now, obviously, but yeah. Now there might be a bridge along here for access for farm vehicles or whatever they're doing down here. You'd think they'd have some sort of bridge across here, but there was a nice wooden footpath bridge back there, quite a big one, and I'm pretty sure I've walked past the location of where that would have been. I'm just still walking a little bit further along here. So I've walked all the way down here to a house. Yeah, not sure how long that house has been there, but yeah, all these farm buildings are definitely new. There was definitely no farm buildings here. Trying to figure out the exact location of the bridge, where it was. I think I roughly know where it was, because I remember it was kind of in line, I think, with the tree line, because there's
on the other side of there, in the Babingley Wood side of Sandringham, there's a line of trees. I think maybe it was more or less in line with those, I'm not sure, but anyway, not exactly. But oh yeah, my girlfriend and I walked across that bridge more than once going here. We've even cut across those little bridges as well, to cut across other different ways of accessing all of these footpaths across here. But now they've all been done away with. Those little bridges, little wooden ones, like I said, someone put a fence on the other side of one of those, which makes it very difficult to go across there and get up onto the other side. I might have a quick look there before I go back. We'll see. But I'm just walking back now towards where I've just left my bicycle. It's a bit inaccessible here for a bicycle. I'm having to push it along anyway. But yeah. So I didn't get as many pictures here. I should have probably got a few more shots, but I was in a rush and I wanted to get off to another location in Sandringham. I just wanted to mention that I did come across Prince Charles one day. He's obviously King Charles now, crossing the river here at the bridge that I mentioned, the footpath bridge that's now gone. Now, it's not a small footpath bridge like these other two. It was a large structure. You could probably fit quite a few people walking abreast, walking across this bridge, probably get a vehicle across if you really wanted to, although I don't think the bridge was necessarily rated for that. But so yeah, I bumped into him one day as I was walking, and I didn't speak to him for long. I just had a brief chat, and he just mentioned this. Oh, he loved to walk here. This was one of his favourite places to walk, which was nice. I did meet Prince Charles again after that one more time in the forest, which I will be talking to you about again. But yeah, so I know he loved this walk here, so here I don't think he's going to be happy about what's been going on here. As much as it would be nice to not leave this documentary on a sour note, I don't think that would be appropriate. I am going to go back to a certain part of the forest, a certain area, which I think I do have to go back to. Some people might be able to guess where that is. But on my way, I just wanted... I was cycling along. I could show you lots of pictures of the forest. Now, when I did have that chat with Prince Charles in the forest later, a larger chat at length with him, he did mention that the royal family had a policy of not cutting trees down. Now, trees have been moved on the estate, as in lifted and moved, but they didn't believe in cutting trees down. It just was totally against the way they felt about the environment and about the forest. And I agree with them on that one. But I want to show you just a couple of images I captured as I was pedalling to my next destination on my push bike. There's been a lot of trees cut down in the forest. I have shown you other places where trees have been cut down, large sections of the forest where trees have been cut down. But these men have been moving through the forest and just cutting trees. They're like thinning the trees out. Now, the royal family subscribed to the theory that if trees needed to be thinned out, then you would lift certain trees out and move them to a new location. But these guys have gone in with chainsaws and just cut down young, healthy trees just for the sake of making money, I presume. And I just took some shots as I was pedaling along. So I stopped my bike at this location and I just thought I'd take some shots into the forest. I noticed as I was pedaling past lots and lots of tree stumps. Now, there didn't used to be tree stumps in Sandringham, because a tree stump itself is symbolic of murder. It's symbolic of a city that's been destroyed. Every forest tree in a forest being like a city for different creatures, home to many. And taking trees down just is basically symbolic of the murder that's been wreaked upon nature and people of different species for generations, for thousands of years really. So I just wanted to show you a couple of shots there. Now you could walk through these woods and just find tree after tree after tree after tree cut down, and a lot of the roots have been dragged out as well by these men.
I presume they probably burn those as well, but you know. And I'm going back to the part of the forest where I more or less started off this journey,
where I showed you that there was, you know, rhododendron devastation and the forest had been absolutely destroyed. There is a part of this section of forest which is still reasonably untouched. Not that well though. I mean, they've been in here. Just to show you a kind of taste of how this forest used to look before it was devastated. It's still not as nice as it should be though, but there we are.
There's moss here, but there's been vehicles running over the moss, as you can see there. You know, destroying that lovely moss there. And I basically hid my bike here. Just a picture there of the complete disregard and devastation that these men like to cause. It's not nice. It's definitely against the ethos that Prince Charles espoused to me about the way he feels that the Sandringham estate should run.
So I'm back at the rifle range and where the target is, and this whole area is peppered with plastic clay pigeon debris. The whole area, it's all poisoned with it. Tons and tons and tons of it. Can you see it all? I'm not going to record all of it, but this whole area is covered in it.
So this is a large and highly illegal poisoning of this environment here. It shows a complete disregard for health and safety, a complete disregard for the forest, a complete disregard for environmental protection, following the letter of the law. Like I've said before, when you're doing these sorts of activities that might leave this kind of debris, you have to put sheets down, you have to clean everything up. This just shows you that the men who are running Sandringham Estate have completely no regard for the estate, for its environment, and for running this estate as Prince Charles, as King Charles, as Queen Elizabeth, as Prince Philip, and their whole family, everybody, how they would want this to run. I mean, indeed, how how Lady Diana would have wanted it to run. I mean, this is an absolute disgrace, and I mean, it looks like this debris has been here for years. I have seen it here before, two years ago, possibly 3 years ago, and nothing's changed here. It's still going on, and you know, it's just come to the point now where it's time for this to be out in the open, you know, and I'm having to do this in a thorough way, in a full documentary covering all of the issues that have been going on Sandringham Estate, because I need this to be sorted out. And this is like my last port of call on this one, really. I didn't feel inclined to try and go to the police or to any local people, because what's going on, I mean, it's of a level, you know, what's been going on in Wolferton, and the taking away of common land that was designated by Queen Elizabeth herself, for that to be taken away and fenced off, and for the locals to not be listened to, I just felt that my only route to trying to get this sorted out was to make this documentary, to try and reach out to King Charles, and hopefully for him to see this documentary and be able to take action to rescue this estate back into the hands of someone who is a compassionate person, like as King Charles is. I know, I've spoken to him. I know how he thinks. I know he's got a heart of gold, and I know that he would most definitely not be happy about this.
So what's going on here is an absolute disgrace. A fresh target put on there. So, you know, they're still actively doing stuff here. So from this footage,
so I took a lot of shots this time. I took a tape measure with me. I wanted to measure the sizes so people watching this video could get a rough idea of the scale of the damage done to this wooden board here. You can see the thickness of the panels on there as well, and obviously judge for yourselves the amount of power required to smash these massive holes into this panel. Now, large sort of caliber rifles is one option for some of these bullet holes, and I would imagine some of these bullet holes have probably been made by large caliber rifles. I did find a hollow point bullet here, which I have taken away because it was just littering the environment. That doesn't look like a massively large caliber rifle bullet, but I am no super expert on these matters. But some of the holes in this panel are of such a size that an extremely large bullet has gone through there. Now, for a gun of that size to be acquired in this country, that to me is difficult. I'm kind of thinking that, you know, I mean, for someone to come up here with a very, very high power rifle with a very, very large bullet, a very, very large caliber, it seems unlikely. So my kind of cursory deduction would be that someone has taken a shotgun cartridge, they've taken ball bearings out of it, they've put a very large ball bearing in there, maybe to the full size of a large gauge barrel on a larger gauge shotgun, and they've shot illegal sized shots from that, which in this country is highly illegal. You can't tamper with shotgun cartridges and put very large ball bearings in them to smash massive holes in targets. Target shooting in this country is actually illegal unless you do it on a rifle range, a proper range to go and shoot. The use of guns in this country is highly regulated, and you can only use a gun for a very specific purposes within the remit of the law, within the remit of any licenses that you hold. Certainly coming up here and taking target practice with large rifles is illegal. You can only go to a military shooting range to practice with large rifles. And for someone to smash these massive holes in this piece of in this wood, to me that has to have been made by like a shotgun turned into a mini cannon, and I don't find this to be acceptable behaviour. I would like this target to be forensically examined. I would like the ground behind this target to be, you know, they may have run metal detectors over this already and removed all of the evidence. I don't know, but they've left the target here. Like I said, I found a hollow point bullet here. Hollow point bullets are very dangerous. The ethos is when you shoot something is that for the bullet to pass straight through is the best option, because you don't want to not have the option for the bullet to pass straight through, if you know what I mean. Now, with bullets passing straight through, there can be more risk of ricochet, but this is why people have advanced training in this country if they have to shoot weapons, where they will take a shot and they won't just judge the shot on taking the shot to incapacitate or kill. They'll take it based upon the ricochet quotient as well. They'll sum all of that up. With a hollow point bullet, that kind of takes that away, because the bullet will basically stop in the flesh and cause extreme damage in random directions and create massive internal injuries. Whereas it's always been the humane way in this country, if you're shooting at anything, is for the shot to be clean, for it to be through the head or through the chest, through the heart, and for it to be a clean kill. That has always been the ethics surrounding gun activities, gun fare, I wouldn't know what you would call it, in this country. So yeah, it's for me to find a hollow point bullet, I find that highly disturbing. And for this target to be completely smashed to pieces, I mean, if you look at all of these pictures, some of these holes are very, very large. So yeah, I mean, from what I've seen here, you can see they're not adhering to the law. Look at the mess. Look at the complete disregard. So yeah, nothing would surprise me on this one. the people working on Sandringham Estate need to understand that the removal of this target, its disposal, would actually be against the law. This target must be analysed. So I beseech them to please not do away with it. And this matter needs to be cleared up properly. And to dispose of this target, well, they're just going to incur further problems for themselves. The evidence I've taken is very meaningful, and to just go in there and take this target away, I mean, it's not gonna make anything any better. It's just gonna make things worse. So. So, as I'm sure you can appreciate, I did not want to stay here too long. I would have taken loads and loads of pictures of this, loads and loads of videos, taken loads of measurements of this target, but I didn't want to stay there very long. Men with guns, men who might not be happy for me to be there, taking pictures and measurements of their target. As you can imagine, I wanted to leave. So I moved back across, more or less the way I'd come, found some more debris, complete lack of regard for the environment, took some more shots. And ended up taking a few pictures of this lovely lovely body of water here on this piece of land. I love this little pond here. Charles even remarked to me when I had a conversation with him that he loves it in this little spot here, and he loves another little spot. That bridge that I tried to find earlier, I met Charles there one day, and walking across there, and he remarked that this is one of his favourite places to walk, down by over that bridge that isn't there anymore. That was before I met him at the sledging area, and we did sort of talk about that again at the sledging area. He was saying, yeah, that's one of my favourite walks down there. Oh, I love it. He loved this place as well, because he mentioned this place as well. But you can't get on here anymore. They just shoot here now. Doesn't look like the open access food for all animals approach that they wanted. And look here, the road is just there. Clay pigeon debris here, right next to the road. I'm going to take that as well. And as I said before, I found some here. Lots of clay pigeons here. See, I took one of those the other day, and the road's just there. Just a quick example of a totally healthy tree here that's been cut down for absolutely no reason. In the middle of this little bit of forest here, where I've just stashed my bike as I went over to the shooting area. Now this is where they run the machines through here on, I think it's Sandringham day one I showed you that. But yeah, totally healthy tree here, cut down. Now, when I talked to Charles, he didn't like trees being cut down at all. He didn't want any trees cut down. He wanted it to stay untouched. That was their policy. So why are people cutting loads and loads of trees down? Why are people cutting down sections of the forest? And why has this tree, this totally healthy tree, been cut down? It's hard to understand. So when I met Prince Charles again in the forest at the sledging area. Now the sledging area and those woods adjacent to Dersingham Bog, we call them Dersingham Bog Woods, you know, near Wolverton. We spoke about many subjects. We spoke about, you know, a little bit of philosophy maybe, that sort of thing, metaphysics even, but I'm not here to talk about that. I'm only saying that literally to maybe jog his memory of the conversation we had, because we did have an interesting conversation for a good hour and a half, 2 hours and 2.5 hours, and yeah, at this sledging spot. And he talked to me about the estate. We talked about the royal family's wishes for the estate, about how happy they were about how the estate was running, about the cricket ground and how much the royal family loved the cricket ground. Now it's not like that. Now a lot of the buildings have been commandeered. About the fact that loads of people would turn up and park along the edge of the road, and the royal family liked to go around and speak to people and see what they were up to, and were very happy that people were enjoying the environment there, you know, the forest. He spoke to me about that. We talked about common land. We talked about the common land in Wolverton. We talked about the allocation of that, and we talked about the allocation of common land across this whole country, across you know, the whole of our nation, and about the policies that they have. And because, as I've mentioned before, the royal family, the monarch, administers the common land law, and the footpath law is maintained by them. And we spoke about this at quite length, and basically their policy is for footpaths and for common land, for those rights to never be eroded, for them to only be improved and increased, never eroded. And the people in Wolverton were very happy about this. I mean, children playing in that orchard I showed you, playing on the different pieces of common land, just enjoying the forest, enjoying the wood, the environment that they had there. This environment is completely changed now, so I can only assume that King Charles is not aware of the changes that have gone on here at Sandringham Estate, which is why I'm reaching out and why I've made this documentary. I mean, sending him a letter or something, I don't necessarily think he would receive that letter. I don't know. This seemed like a far better way of not only showing you all of the problems, but also showing him personally, the king, the problems that are going on here. And, you know, to show him that all of the things we discussed in the forest that day, all of the things that the royal family was so delighted about his favourite place to walk across that bridge there over the River Babingley, that's gone now. And, yeah, I mean, you know, it's hard to believe that Sandringham Estate, the management at Sandringham Estate, have managed to get away with what they've managed to get away with. I can only imagine that Charles hasn't been keeping an eye on Sandringham Estate, and he's just assumed that things have been going along as they were. Maybe he's been reassured that everything's fine on the estate and everything's ticking along as per usual. But I must reassure him, you know, there's no reassurance here. I must assure him that is not the case and that is not happening. I do have time constraints on this video. I can't talk about this for too long, but yeah, we did have a very, very interesting conversation about, you know, our beliefs. We covered many subjects, belief structures and all these sorts of things, the ethics behind the laws of common land and footpaths, the psychological the gift that this is to the nation, the well-being of every member of every species in this country. And I just can't let this slide. I can't let this go. So I've had to make this documentary. I have no fear for myself. I'm not worried about repercussions. Maybe there will be, I don't know. Have people been getting intimidated and threatened in Wolverton and other places across this region? I assume that's probably the case. I don't know. But I refuse to be kowtowed by these people, whoever they are. And yeah, the truth will out, I'm sure. So I say goodbye. This is, well, I've got another short film to show you at the end of this documentary concerning Wootton Woods. So I'll let that run now, and I'll see you later.
So I've just come to the Wootton Woods, which is the you know where Leziate Common is? Just across Leziate Common Road. There's another load of woods there. I think I briefly mentioned it. And I've come here because what used to happen here on a yearly basis is they'd bring in snow machines and they'd hold sledging competitions here. Now sometimes it snows, sometimes it doesn't. But if you bring a snow machine in, you can hold sledging competitions. Now here there's loads of wonderful sledging runs, and you go further that way, there's more and more and more. It's amazing. I mean, I came here when I was young because I used to live on Pingle's estate over that way, and my dad brought me here sledging. It's a very strong memory for me, and I remember how this was here. Now, what's happened recently with all of these private signs going up and everything is we've had a very strange situation here. Someone saw fit to put this fence here and fence off part of the forest. They just decided that it's theirs. Now, how they would buy this here, I don't know how they managed to do that. I'd like someone maybe to investigate that and to figure out exactly what happened here. But yeah, I mean, there's houses there. I don't know how old those houses are. I don't think they were here before. Anyway, this fence was definitely not here. It popped up. And when I first saw it, I was like, what is going on there? I used to walk through there. And now you can't. Very bizarre. But yeah, no, there are lots and lots of wonderful sledging runs here. It's definitely worth bringing your kids here. But what used to happen is they used to hold a sledging competition here, and they'd have loads of little runs through, and they'd put like barriers up and stuff and make it really safe, and snow machines and everything. And this happened, you know, so many years ago, probably about 7 or 8 years ago, something like that. And it's not happening here anymore. So I'm not sure why that was stopped. Yeah. Well, I mean, you could say nature don't like it. The forest people don't like it. Nobody cares about forest people around here. All they're trying to do is stop people walking in places and shoot at things, as you can tell by all the pheasant trees and shooting places around here. So this is another move at exactly the same time. You know, are they going to try and turn this into one of their conservation areas? Do you know what I mean? Which is actually, you know, somewhere in a town where you have architectural archetypes that you adhere to. Certainly not, you know, legal speak for fencing off an area and saying you can't go in there for the sake of animals that nobody really cares about. Because if you cared about them, you would build them lovely little domiciles, lovely little houses for them to live in, all like warm and lovely inside, with food and water and warmth throughout the winter, so they can have their babies in peace and serenity and without stress. You see, that's the vision. That's the kind of vision that the royal family had for Sandringham. But it's been stopped by a bunch of people who have rolled in, and the estate manager, whoever's managing the estate of Sandringham, people have rolled into this area and started privatising, putting private signs up everywhere. They must be intimidating the locals, they must be. But yeah, with Sandringham, well, the estate manager has a lot to answer for. And I'm wondering what Charles is going to do now and how he's going to respond to this. Because when he sees this documentary, which he has to, a documentary like this, you can't keep it quiet. It has to be seen by him. And like I said, I spoke to Charles for, I reckon, around 2.5 hours. I spoke to him about that sledging area. And I spoke to him about the estate and his vision for the estate and the royal family's vision for common land across this country. Now what's happening now is in direct opposition to that. They would never have signed a bill to allow that. They would have gone against Parliament rather than sign a bill to sign away common land rights. Now I know for a fact well, there's no way the Conservatives would manage to get something like that through, as in to take away common land rights. So what's happened is people have just done it anyway, you know. And yeah, there's a big upheaval coming in this local area, and there's a lot of people here who I'd imagine are very angry about what's been going on here, and people have been, I reckon people must be getting threatened. But anyway, we'll see. It'll all come out in the wash.